Round 17 action kicks off tonight, and with only a handful of games left in the AFL 2018 season, a lot of teams pushing for places in the finals and a lot of big names returning to football this weekend. All this and more discussed on the upcoming instalment of AFL Teams and Tips.
His name is Godzilla.
What's going on, Godzilla Nation? This is Godzilla back again with another AFL Teams and Tips video looking ahead to round 17 action. Thank you for joining me as always. And before we start, I want to thank you guys for helping me reach 400 subscribers. The support you guys show myself and this channel is absolutely tremendous. I cannot thank you guys enough. The goal we set for ourselves to hit was 500, and that is well and truly in sight. And I know with your support, we can get there and beyond. But let's not worry about that. Let's focus on AFL action, and it kicks off tonight. By the time this goes up, this game will already be underway. Adelaide Crows hosting Geelong Cats at Adelaide Oval. In for the Crows is Alex Keith, Riley Knight, Eddie Betts, Rory Atkins, and Lachlan Murphy. Daniel Talia is out injured, as well as Richard Douglas, with Curtly Hampton, Miles Poholke and Darcy Fogarty all omitted. For the Cats, Wiley Buzzard, Daniel Menzel and Sam Simpson all in, with Lockie Fogarty, Harry Taylor and Jordan Murdoch all injured as well. I am going to tip an upset, and I am going to back Geelong to knock off Adelaide in Adelaide. Nobody gave Geelong any chance last week against Sydney in Sydney, and boy did they prove a lot of people wrong, and I think they can do it again against Adelaide. They were just so flat last week, Adelaide against Richmond, and even though I'm happy Richmond got a big win against Adelaide in Melbourne, they've got some serious problems this season. But I think Geelong, with the press they want to make coming into the back end of the season for finals, I think they're going to get the job done over Adelaide tonight. Tomorrow night at Etihad Stadium, Friday night football, St Kilda versus Carlton, the marquee blockbuster game of the season. 18th versus 15th. A lot of jokes going on about this game. And half-price tickets too. That's how desperate they are to get people in the door to this game. So, if that gives you any indication as to how small a crowd they think they're going to pull. However, both teams bringing in some big names for this marquee game. St Kilda bringing in Jake Carlisle, Rowan Marshall, Tom Hickey, Jack Loney and Ed Phillips. Out, Paddy McCartan and Nathan Wright, with Logan Austin all due to injury. Billy Longer and Dara Joyce have been omitted. For the Blues, Cade Simpson, Jared Garlett, Paddy Dow, Harry Mackay and Matt Shaw on debut. First game since coming over from the Gold Coast. Out, we have Jacob Wiedering, Andrew Phillips and Darcy Lang out injured, with Matthew Wright being managed and Nick Graham being omitted. This is one of the games that could really go 50-50. It really could. Even though Carlton's been playing some deplorable football, it really could go 50-50. I just feel, going off of glimpses that we saw over the last few weeks, I'm going to back St Kilda to get the job done against Carlton. Carlton could come out and upset, and I hope Carlton can pick up a win because they're in all sorts at the moment. But I just think with what St Kilda have shown, they've shown that they can actually push for a win. And they took it to Port Adelaide for a very long time last weekend. So I'm going to back St Kilda to knock off the Blues Friday night football. Kicking action off on Saturday afternoon, we have Hawthorn hosting the Brisbane Lions. And I'm pretty sure that's at the University of Tasmania Stadium. In for the Hawks, Brendan Whitecross and Tim O'Brien. Jonathan O'Rourke is out injured. Ben McAvoy is out injured as well. James Frawley plays game 200. The Brisbane Lions go unchanged. The Hawks get it done here. However, in saying that, Brisbane could come out and make a mess of them. Brisbane in the last 2 weeks have had some very big games, and there are a lot of players on that team that have been lifting. I turned around and said as soon as Dane Beams relinquished that captaincy, he was going to blitz. And he has been absolutely unstoppable since handing the reins over to Zorko. However, I think Hawks are going to be in full fighting mode. They want to push for finals this season, and this is one game that they must win. So I am backing the Hawks to get it done quite comfortably Saturday afternoon. We head on over later that afternoon to the MCG. Melbourne hosting the Western Bulldogs. In for the Demons, Bernie Vince and Jay Kennedy Harris, with Joel Smith and Billy Stretch both out injured. Alex Neil Bullen plays game 50 for the club. And for the Bulldogs, back earlier than expected, Jack McRae is in. Jordan Ruffhead and Mitch Honeychurch out. Marcus Bontempelli, Hayden Crozier and Tom Boyd all due to injury. Jason Johannesen plays game 100. I am going to back Melbourne. I just feel their depth is a little better than the Bulldogs, and Jack McRae coming straight back from injury instead of coming through the VFL, very risky move. I think Max Gawn's going to have an absolute field day in the ruck, and that's where the ball is going to be won, and that's where Melbourne's going to be able to skip away from the Dogs. I just think they're going to be too strong on Saturday afternoon. Later on that night, we head on over to Spotless Stadium. GWS hosting Richmond. Both clubs have some big ins respectively. For the Giants, Adam Kennedy, Jacob Hopper and Toby Green all in. Harry Perriman, Matt DeBoer out injured. Jeremy Finlayson has been omitted. For Richmond, Nick Vlosten back after suspension. Basher Hooley back in after injury. And Shai Bolton gets his chance. We all remember that famous kick that he pulled off that was called a point, and then GWS ran up the other end and kicked a goal. Oh, the scenes. But out, Dan Butler, Jack Graham and Nathan Broad all injured. David Asprey plays game 100. Finally, another player who's had a career rifled with injury and missed opportunity. The Tigers are going to get it done, and we're finally going to be able to shut some people up by showing we can win on the road this year. However, I still feel there's going to be a sour note. I still feel if we beat GWS on the road, it's going to come down to not talking about the fact that we can win away from the MCG, but we beat a team that is missing key players. And it's always going to be the talk, because a lot of people have been trying to bring Richmond down this season, as you would with the reigning premiers, but I think this is where Richmond has the chance to shut some people up, and I think when we're playing the best brand of football in the competition, that can't be halted, and I think we're going to get it done quite comfortably. 30 plus points against the Giants over at Spotless. And to round things out, Saturday night for Saturday action, we've got the Gold Coast hosting Essendon at Metricon Stadium. No change for the Gold Coast. In for Essendon, Matt Day, Orazio Fantasia and Darcy Parish. Drake Stringer, Patrick Ambrose both injured, with Jake Long omitted. I'm going to tip Essendon for the win here. However, if the Gold Coast come out and play like they did against North Melbourne, they could actually pull off a big win here, and that would be huge for the club. However, I think Essendon are just going to be too strong, and they're going to get the job done against the Gold Coast in the Gold Coast to round out Saturday night football. Sunday afternoon kicks off at the MCG with one of the games of the round, Collingwood versus the West Coast Eagles, and there are some huge names for the Eagles. But starting with Collingwood, Travis Varco, Callum Brown, Darcy Moore, Sam Murray and Adam Oxley all named in. Obviously extended benches, so stay tuned for final teams mentioned. Flynn Appleby is out injured. Jack Crisp plays game 100. In for the Eagles, Jack Darling, Mark Lacroix, Josh Kennedy, Dom Sheed and Jake Waterman, with Nathan Vardy omitted. And this is a hard one to tip, because I really want to tip the Eagles here, but they have not beaten Collingwood at the MCG in over 20 years. This could be the year it gets done. It could be the year. I am backing the Eagles to knock off Collingwood at the MCG. It is a huge call, but with the Eagles bringing their full-strength team back in, you have to back the Eagles here. And I'm going to. Collingwood might smack the Eagles, but I think Eagles are going to break a 20-plus year hoodoo this weekend. I feel it, and I've got to go with it. I'm doing it. I'm locking it in. Eagles to beat Collingwood. Later on that afternoon at Optus Stadium, Fremantle hosts Port Adelaide. In for Fremantle, Scott Jones, Ryan Nias, Cameron Sutcliffe, Cam McCarthy, Taylor Dooman, Andrew Brayshaw out injured. For Port Adelaide, Jack Hompsch, Carl Amon, Jared Leinart, Sam Gray and Kane Farrell named as ins. Tom Jonas out injured. Jared Leinart and Kane Farrell, if selected, will debut for the club. Jared Polek plays game 100. Got to back Port Adelaide here. If Port Adelaide want to have a serious push for top 4, they need to win this game. If they drop this game, it leaves the door open for other clubs to push up. But I think Port Adelaide too strong, and even though they're playing it out at Optus Stadium, they should get it done quite comfortably. To round out round 17, we have North Melbourne hosting Sydney Swans at Etihad Stadium. Another big game of football. In for the Kangaroos, Luke Davies-Uniacke, Nick Larkey, Alex Morgan, Will Walker and Tom Murphy. Cameron Zurhaar out injured. Alex Morgan and Will Walker will debut if selected. For Sydney, Tom Papley, Isaac Heaney, Darcy Cameron, Harry Marsh, Nick Newman, Colin O'Riordan, I hope I said that right, and Gary Rowan, with Daniel Hanbury, Kieran Jack and Jared McVeigh all out injured. Darcy Cameron and Colin O'Riordan will debut if selected. I am backing North Melbourne. I think Hanbury, Jack, McVeigh, big outs, big shoes to fill, and I think with the way North Melbourne have been dominating Etihad, I think they're going to get it done quite comfortably and knock off the Swannies and lock up that top 8 spot that they deserve to play this season. So to cap off our picks, we're going with Geelong, St Kilda, Hawthorn, Melbourne, Richmond, Essendon, Eagles, Port Adelaide and the Kangaroos. Be sure to get your tips in the comment section down below. If you have been enjoying this initiative, guys, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, plenty of other stuff to go check out, and if you do enjoy what you see, hit that subscribe button, pledge your allegiance to the Godzilla Nation, notification bell next to it, hit it so you get notified every single time something brand new hits the channel. Social media links down below, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, hit me up on all of those. One last thing before I leave, to mark the 400 subscriber occasion, I will be doing a Q&A video, the first on the channel. I've left the ability to ask questions open for a little longer than anticipated, and if you have a question you want answered live on that video, be sure to leave a question for me down below in the comment section. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.